Hey everybody, welcome to episode 103 of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com. Getting close to the middle of February now. It feels more like August here. I mean, it is 80 degrees outside and just trying to deal with the heat, but got a lot of questions here, so let's get right down to it. Let's say the WWE goes out of business. Does this mean the end of pro wrestling in North America? I would say no, because in the very unlikely event that WWE was to go out of business, I'm sure that new wrestling companies would rise up from the ashes and the business would continue. Now I'm trying to think of what would cause WWE to go out of business. I mean, right now, they're still a very profitable company. Despite the fact that they're not quite as popular as they used to be, they're still making money, and something really catastrophic would have to happen for them to go out of business. Now, if something happened and they went under, I mean, it would definitely be bad for the wrestling industry, but I think it would recover, and there's always going to be an audience for pro wrestling. So it would continue, but it would definitely take a hit. But like I said, very unlikely that WWE is going anywhere in the near future. Do you think that being Undertaker's last match, he should have the main event match over Rock versus Cena? He has done more for the company overall, even though he hasn't starred in films, etc. He is the reason for most of WWF/WWE's success. What do you think? Thanks. Well, first of all, I wouldn't go as far to say that he's the main reason for WWE's success. He's definitely been a big part of Wrestlemania. Now, as far as him being the last match at this year's Wrestlemania, it sounds like a nice idea on paper, but when you have Rock versus Cena, there's just nothing that's going to be able to follow Rock versus Cena. In terms of crowd heat, in terms of story, I mean, that's what everyone's looking forward to. That's the most anticipated match, and putting Undertaker on after that is just too big of a risk, and I don't think it's a good idea, and I don't think it's going to happen. Now, perhaps at next year's WrestleMania, if Undertaker wrestles again, maybe WWE could book a big match for Undertaker, maybe against Brock Lesnar or something, and in that case, it would make sense to have Undertaker's match go on last, but for this year, I don't see Undertaker being in the last match. Hey Aaron, would you agree with me in saying that Randy Orton has never competed in an instant classic 5-star type of match? Admittedly, he's been in some very good ones, but I can't think of any of his matches which have blown me and other fans completely away. I totally agree with you. It seems like with Randy Orton, he's had some very good matches over the years, but not that one all-time classic. If you look at the greatest matches in WWE history, I don't think you're going to find a Randy Orton match close to the top. Like I said, he's had some very good ones. I mean, the closest thing to a career-defining match for him would be, I think, the one with Mick Foley at Backlash 2004, but that match I wouldn't say was one of the best matches of all time. It was a very good brawl, and Orton looked really good in that match, but you know, not at the top of my list, and he had a really good match with Undertaker WrestleMania 21, which I was at live. Very good match, but wasn't like it was the best Undertaker WrestleMania match. And he's had some really good matches with Christian this year, but once again, I don't know if you would put those at like Steve Austin versus Bret Hart type level, or Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. So perhaps one day Orton will have that match, but yeah, you're right. I don't think there has been a match that could be considered to be a 5-star instant classic for Randy Orton. But he's still got time. What are your thoughts on the internet fans? It seems all people do nowadays is complain. I actually like WWE now. That's why I watch. I don't know why they do. Do you think the Attitude Era rose the bar too high? And do you think the IWC will ever be satisfied? Well, first of all, regarding the Attitude Era raising the bar very high, I agree with you on that. I mean, they did so many outlandish things. That was a period of wrestling that we're probably never going to see again. It was WWE versus WCW. Both companies were trying to outdo each other, and they kept pushing the envelope, and they just pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's just a different period now. Things have changed, and yeah, I think that the situation is that a lot of those fans during that period were teenagers or kids, and they grew up, and they go on the internet, and they expect to see the Attitude Era all over again. And it's like one of the questions I get asked the most: when is WWE going to have another Attitude Era? It's not going to happen. Times have changed, and the wrestling business evolves. They're not going to stay the same. So if fans are watching expecting to see another Attitude Era, they should probably just give up and find something else to watch. But as far as I go, I mean, I've been watching it my whole life since birth practically. So I've seen every era, and I'm just a general wrestling fan. I like sports entertainment. It doesn't have to be all that edgy. It doesn't have to be over the top. Just entertain me. That's all I ask for. Do you think Chris Jericho has any more surprises in store for us, or do you think that's him? That's him back now, and the big return is over. There may be a connection between the girl in the video and Stephanie McMahon, seen as though she was mentioned on Raw this week. Your thoughts? To be honest with you, I don't even think they're going to have a follow-up regarding the girl in the video. I think that Chris Jericho made it clear on Raw that he was trolling everybody, and I think that's it. I think that the focus now is going to be Chris Jericho versus CM Punk, and the whole best in the world, that whole deal. And we've seen in the past where WWE has this storyline, or they reference something and then they just drop it. I mean, look at the anonymous Raw GM, and of course they can always go back to it at some point. If somebody comes up with an idea, they could always have this woman come out. Maybe Stephanie McMahon, or that's something people have suggested. Any number of things they could do at any time, but at this point, I don't really expect the follow up, to be honest with you. Hey Aaron, glad you have kept the text and video answers. I enjoy both. My question is, have you watched Ring Ka King? Do you like it, and what does the big opening rating mean for TNA as a whole? I watched the first edition of it, and it just seemed like a simplified version of Impact Wrestling, which it's a good thing because it gives a lot of the wrestlers another project to work on, and they've been using other guys that aren't part of TNA right now, like Chavo Guerrero, so it's giving a lot of guys more employment, so that's a good thing. And I mean, hopefully it's a success for TNA because it'll give them a little bit more revenue, and it'll help TNA, as the whole package. But I'm not sure where it's going to go. I mean, the ratings got to stay consistent, and we'll see if they can turn it into something bigger. I mean, just time will tell. But it's good to experiment and try to really become a global company. And yeah, I mean, I encourage it. I encourage TNA to keep working overseas and keep trying to go into new markets. I think it's a good thing. All right, that'll do it for today's edition of No DQ&A Video. Thanks as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com. And don't forget this weekend, live coverage of TNA Against All Odds, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you then.